topic tonight is the certainty of the second coming. Is Jesus really coming again? Are we certain about his return? What does the Bible say about his second coming? Before we get into this deeper, I'd just like to give a word of prayer. Dear Father in heaven, I ask that you touch my lips, that you can give me the words to say, and that I can send you a message, and that you touch the people's hearts, Lord, that they can understand your message. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. In 1942, Japan had conquered the Philippines. Controlling the Philippines was vital for Japan's survival during World War II because it commanded sea routes to Borneo and Sumatra by which rubber and petroleum were shipped to Japan. For the U.S., conquering Philippines was a key strategic step in isolating Imperial Japan's military holdings in China and the Pacific Theater. In 1942, just a month before Japan forced the surrender of all U.S. forces in the Philippines, the U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt had ordered General Douglas MacArthur to leave the Philippines and organize the U.S. forces gathering in Australia. Filipino soldiers were dismayed, and people lost their hope. But General MacArthur's famous words gave them comfort. He said, "I shall return." And about 3 years after he uttered these famous words, General MacArthur returned to the Philippines on October 20th, 1944, landing in Palau, the island of Leyte, to liberate the Filipino people from Japan. In part of his proclamation, he said, "To the people of the Philippines, I have returned. By the grace of the Almighty God, our forces stand again in Filipino soil consecrated in the blood of our two peoples. We have come dedicated and committed to the task of destroying every vestige of enemy control over your daily lives, and of restoring upon a foundation of indestructible strength the liberties of your people." General MacArthur, human as he was, fulfilled his promise. He came back and freed the people who were waiting for him. In the Bible, before Jesus ascended to heaven, he promised to return. He said in the book of John, "I will come again." In Joshua 21:45, it says, "Not one word of all the good promises that the Lord had made to the house of Israel had failed. All came to pass." Also, in Isaiah 55:11, it says, "So shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I send it." God's word is trustworthy. His promises are true. What God says he will do, he will do. Jesus' second coming is certain. He will come back. Captain Scott O'Grady's fighter jet spiraled toward the earth after it was hit by a missile over war-torn Bosnia. He pulled the ejection lever of his F-16 and parachuted into enemy territory, beginning a frightening odyssey. For 6 days, he survived by eating bugs and drinking rainwater. He avoided capture by hiding under bushes and covering his face with mud to make himself less visible. Sometimes, enemy soldiers searching for him passed within only a few feet of where he was hiding. O'Grady wondered, do they know I'm alive? Do they care? Are they going to come for me? What he didn't know was that from the moment his ordeal began, the U.S. military was mobilizing a massive, multi-million-dollar effort for his rescue. At one point, his country had 40 airplanes in the air, searching just for him. But he still kept wondering, will they come for me? Captain O'Grady was eventually recovered in a daring rescue, using several branches of the military, all to save just one soldier stranded behind enemy lines. We are likewise stranded in enemy territory, and some people are wondering whether God has forgotten us. But he absolutely hasn't. Christ has not forgotten his people. He promised he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Matthew 24:35. God is making preparations even now to rescue all of his children. He's coming back, and soon. But how can we be so certain? In a sweeping, comprehensive review of world history, a prophecy found in the Bible, in the book of Daniel chapter 2, revealed the rise and fall of nations in advance, all culminating with the second coming. More than 2,600 years ago, an ancient Babylonian king who had conquered the nation of Israel had a mysterious, confusing dream. When his wise men and astrologers could not decipher his nighttime vision, the Hebrew captive stepped forward and through God's help unraveled the king's dream, which provided a stunning overview of time down to the end of the world. And we all know the image that we saw. King Nebuchadnezzar listened in awe as the Jewish hostage, Daniel, unfolded the dream of a multi-mineral statue of a man. The young prophet was given insight by God to explain the meaning of the vision. In Daniel chapter 2, verse 31 and 33, it says, "You, O king, were watching, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose splendor was excellent, stood before you, and its form was awesome. This image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet partly of iron and partly of clay." Daniel then revealed that the head of gold on the statue represented Babylon, which reigned from 605 BC to 539 BC. History next confirms that the chest and arms of silver symbolize the Medo-Persian Empire, which overran Babylon and reigned from 539 BC to 331 BC. The belly and thighs of brass stood for Greece. Alexander the Great conquered the Persians and paved the way for Greek rule from 331 BC to 168 BC. Next, the legs of iron symbolized the Iron Monarchy of Rome, which conquered the Greeks in 168 BC and dominated the world until AD 476. When the Roman Empire crumbled, it was not overtaken by another world power. Rather, the statue's feet of iron mixed with clay represented the successive hordes of Germanic invaders who divided the territory into what is now known as modern-day Europe. Though many rulers tried to unite Europe, including Charlemagne, Napoleon, and Adolf Hitler, none have been successful. How did Nebuchadnezzar's dream end? You watched while a stone was cut out without hands, which struck the image on its feet of iron and clay, and broke them in pieces. Then the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together, and became like chaff from the summer threshing floors. The wind carried them away, so that no trace of them was found. And the stone that struck the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. Daniel 2:34-35. Who is the stone cut out without hands that demolished the image with such force? It is Jesus Christ, the Rock of Ages. All of history moves toward this spectacular finale when the Son of God returns to earth with power. History textbooks even confirm that we are living into the toes of the grand symbolic figure. Kingdoms have risen and fallen, just as God predicted through Daniel. The last scene in Nebuchadnezzar's dream is the coming of God's kingdom. Biblical prophecy has proven itself trustworthy, so we can know with certainty that we are living in the end times. Jesus is coming back soon. Not only do fulfilled promises reinforce the certainty of the second coming, but Jesus himself made ironclad statements about his return. He didn't give hints. He gave straightforward words spoken to his disciples, removing all doubt. John 14, verses 1-3 says, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. With stunning precision, Jesus also foretold the signs of his coming, the exact manner of his return, and what happens just before the end of the age. Large sections of the Gospel portray the final events of Earth's history that culminate in the Second Advent. Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke 17 and 21 outline the signs of the times. Jesus also told many parables to encourage people to watch and be ready for his second coming, such as the parable of the faithful and evil servants, the parable of the wise and foolish virgins, the parable of the talents, and the parable of the sheep and goats. And you can go back and study these later on by yourself. Anyway, as Jesus ascended to heaven, angels appeared and assured his disciples, "Men of Galilee, why do you stand gazing up into heaven? The same Jesus who is taken up from you into heaven will also come in like manner as you saw him go into heaven." Acts 1:11. Jesus' first advent to earth and to Bethlehem, more than 2,000 years ago, is closely connected to the second advent. The Messiah didn't leave heaven and come to earth just to impress some group of shepherds. His purpose was to conquer sin and death. Having disarmed principalities and powers, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them in it. Colossians 2:15. If Jesus had not won a decisive victory over the devil, why would we have any reason to think he would come back, once and for all, to destroy Satan's dominion over this planet and make everything new again? The Lord did not leave our earth to spin into oblivion. Heaven is deeply committed to ending the great battle between good and evil, and to restore Eden on earth. Jesus will return to end all suffering, offer true justice, and crush the serpent who has ravaged the human race since the fall of Adam and Eve. Hebrews 9:26 and 28 say, "Now, once at the end of ages, he has appeared to put away sin by the sacrifice of himself. Christ was offered once to bear the sins of many, and to those who eagerly wait for him, he will appear a second time, apart from sin, for salvation." Did you know that the Bible contains around 1,800 prophecies? And for every Old Testament prophecy that speaks about the first coming of Jesus, 8 predict his second coming. References to the coming of Christ occur hundreds of times in the Bible. Even the last word of the Bible affirms his soon return. Jesus said, "Surely I am coming quickly," to which the Apostle John replied, "Amen. Even so, come Lord Jesus." The Apostle Peter told us the second coming had been prophesied from the beginning. "Repent therefore, and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out, so that times of refreshing may come from the presence of the Lord, and that he may send Jesus Christ, who was preached to you before, whom heaven must receive until the times of restoration of all things, which God has spoken by the mouth of all his holy prophets since the world began." Acts 3:19-21. Enoch, who lived only 7 generations after Adam, prophesied of Christ's return. "Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints." 1,000 years before Jesus was born, King David told of the Lord's coming to gather his people. "Our God shall come and shall not keep silent. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous all around him." Psalm 50, verse 3. The Apostle Paul preached to the pagans that God has appointed a day on which he will judge the world in righteousness by the man whom he has ordained. He has given assurance of this to all by raising him from the dead. Acts 17:31. The writer of Hebrews admonished believers in not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as you see the day approaching. Hebrews 10:25. The book of James affirms, "Be patient, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth, waiting patiently for it until it receives the early and latter rain. You also be patient. Establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord is at hand. Do not grumble against one another, brethren, lest you be condemned. Behold, the judge is standing at the door." James 5, verse 7 and 9. And John wrote a letter to inspire believers by stating, "Now, little children, abide in him, that when he appears, we may have confidence and not be ashamed before him at his coming." 1 John 2:28. He later began the apocalypse with these words, "Grace to you and peace from him, who is, and who was, and who is to come." Revelation 1:4. This entire prophetic book points to the theme of the second coming. Revelation 22:12 says, "Behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give to everyone according to his work." Take note that God has a reward when he comes back, and these are Jesus' words. He says he will come quickly, and his words never fail. In Isaiah 48, it says, "The grass withers and the flowers fall, but the word of our God endures forever." In closing, let me share to you the promise of Jesus found in the book of John 14, verses 1 to 3. "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also."
Amen.
The question for all of us tonight is, are we ready for Jesus' second coming?
Yeah.
May God bless us all this evening. This is my prayer.
Amen.